Good morning, ladies and gents. Thanks for tuning into another watch list brought to you by FTX. If you don't have an FTX account, then feel free to use the link in the description below and you'll receive 10% off your trading fees. First things first, I hope you all had a great weekend. I know I did. Feeling very rested, I guess. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Now I think we're in an interesting spot here on Bitcoin. We do have a support line through here at around the $37,500 mark. We've been speaking about this for a little while now. Yeah, it's interesting. We do have a nice bullish candle. You know, yesterday's closed quite bullish on that level. So there's a few little indicators that are saying that, you know, we could see a good bounce. But, you know, we have spent so much time basically sideways that it's hard to tell. Morning, Bobby. I hope you're well. And I'm about to do something that I'll probably cop a lot of flack for, but I do follow a lot of traders on Twitter and stuff. So it is something to note. And it's a sloping trend line. Now, a lot of people are putting sloping trend lines in here, wick, from wick to wick. And the only reason I'm doing this is because it does line up with this horizontal support line. So we don't trade sloping trend lines. I'm gonna make that very clear that we don't. I definitely do not. But if you are that way inclined, well done. I hope it works out for you. But I think we would be silly to ignore the fact that a lot of people do. They do trade these and they do use these as indicators on, you know, support, I guess. So traders out there that as a support level and they will be buying on, leading me to believe that maybe we may not. Bash Craig might fire me, definitely. But you know, I think we'd be silly to ignore that fact. But if we have a look at these lower time frames, we are playing. Look, it's just very messy, isn't it? Like these 4-hour time frames, extremely messy. I think, yeah, we're sitting on this level. We need to see a solid break of that level if we are moving down. But if we have a look at this weekly chart, again, we've just seen a huge sell-off, almost a pullback on the weekly. It is, you know, beginning to look like a bullish trend with a higher low. And, you know, this just is too low for me to say that that's another higher low. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen next. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a break of that level. And look, I think if we do come down and test this $30,000, failing that, you know, a bounce off this level and a move higher would be fantastic. But at the moment, there's just not too much on Bitcoin. It's a little bit hard to say. Well, BAT is one that I did have in the list. Was the 4-hour, I think. Yeah, we've got a nice trend forming, pulling back into that cradle zone. MACD looks good. But then we do have a look at this daily. I think there's a level through here. Yeah, so a little bit of a level through here we've tested a few times. So if this trade does set up, that's one thing to note. It's probably not a solid support level, but it's a level nonetheless. Bitcoin Cash was one I was really liking. We've had 2 tests, 3 tests. We've broken, we're pulling back into that cradle zone. So yeah, a pullback onto that level and a bearish candle would be nice. Let's have a look at the daily. Again, the daily does have a little bit of a level through here. But I believe you would probably hit 1-to-1 before that. So if you are going to take that trade, I would, if that was me, I'd probably take full profits at 1-to-1 just because of that level. EOS is another one with a nice 4-hour trend. Probably not the best 4-hour trend. What's the 8 look like? Yeah, a nice 8-hour trend. So we'll pull back onto that level. Should put it in the cradle zone. It's one thing to watch. Neo as well, the 4-hour. not really backed by a level. When I did make this list, it was this candle wasn't here, so it was not sitting nicely in that cradle zone. It looks like it's overshot it just a little bit. That candle has a lot more work to do if it is to set up. And perp is pulling back into that cradle zone. But again, just because of where Bitcoin is and it's on that level, I'm probably more inclined to sit out for the day and wait for the trend, to really confirm its direction. I do believe that we'll probably see some more buying come back into the market. There was sorry, it's probably my internet. Okay, well, hopefully that is sorted out, but we'll see. But yeah, there was a lot of hype in the NFT space leading up to this Other Deeds Land drop by Yuga Labs, who are the owners of Bored Ape Yacht Club. They were selling land, and I believe that there was a lot of funds that went into this, and we saw in the weeks leading up to that ApeCoin have an absolute pump, and the rest of the market was in red. Was a lot of funding pulled out of the market to put into ApeCoin to get ready for that dump. Who knows, but I'm sure there was some. It turned out it was I wouldn't say an absolute failure, but a lot of people spent a lot of money on gas fees. I believe up to about 7 ETH just on gas. I think one person spent, so it's an absurd amount of money to be spending on transaction fees for a piece of virtual land that other people were paying. I think it was 305 ApeCoin, which worked out to be about $6,000 worth for one piece of land. But then, yeah, some people were paying more in that transaction fee. So, yeah, I think that's why we saw that pump on ApeCoin. I did put in the Slack community that I believe we would see a bit of a dump after that, with people just selling their big bag of ApeCoin because now it has no real worth because it was all spent on the land. Unless they bring in some utilities for that ApeCoin, who knows? But yeah, it did see a huge sell-off. But yeah, there's nothing to keep an eye on that ApeCoin at the moment. But yeah, that's what was sort of happening in the market, and that's why ApeCoin had a nice pump for those that didn't know. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting week, I think. What I'd like to see is a nice solid bounce. We move higher, giving us some great trading opportunities. Back up to that sort of that ranging area around sort of through here. We sort of tried to break out and then just rejected it. So yeah, solid bounce off there, move back up to there. That'll be nice, and giving us some great trading opportunities all the way up. Yeah, Bobby, that's absolutely ridiculous. I stayed up just to watch it all unfold, and you feel it gets some people spend that much on gas. And have nothing to show for it. So it's a scary thought, this NFT space is. I do believe it has a bright future, but I think it's a little bit of a bubble at the moment, especially with the whole Bored Ape Yuga Labs thing. It's just getting ridiculous. People are paying extreme amounts of money just to get their foot in the door and have some exposure, and then just things like that, they just get wrecked with fees and a piece of virtual land that doesn't really have any utility just yet. They've just got full trust in the people that are making this program. So yeah, stay safe. And yeah, that's the list for today. Sorry, it's not a huge list, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting week, I think. If we do see a nice solid bounce, we want to see those higher highs, and then we should get some good trading opportunities, and hopefully we move back up and test this level again. But yeah, stay tuned. I'll see you all on Wednesday, and yeah, have a great week. Thanks, guys.